Brought to you by the Ramsey Network app. Download today to go further with Ramsey.
So I have a bit of a problem. I never thought this was going to happen. So in 2018, my father passed away, and he left me and my brother a 401k plan. Fast forward 5 years, I got a check in the mail this morning for about $245,000. The original account balance was about $300,000. And what's happening is they gave me the check, and I have to pay the IRS that $55,000 difference from the $300,000 to the $245,000. I called them and asked them if they could roll it over, and they said once they issued the check, there's nothing that can be done.
Who told them to issue the check?
Not me. Apparently, the company my father was working for, I didn't read.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You cut out. Apparently, the company your father worked for, what?
Yeah, they have a 5-year plan, I guess, for the death benefit, that if it's not rolled over to something else within 5 years, they must close the account and just issue a check out. It's super confusing. The way they explained it to me, I was on the phone with them for an hour and a half this morning with my 401k company. And they pretty much said, once we issue the check, there's nothing that can be done. There was no workaround.
Yeah, there is.
They had until this. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there is. Because I'm sure you don't have an extra $55,000 laying around.
No. So the way it worked is my account balance was $300,000. It started at like $215,000, and over the years I got it up to $300,000. They issued me a check for $245,000. They already took the money out and sent it to the IRS and issued me the difference.
Yeah, they have to withhold 20%. That's the rule. If you take a withdrawal, but this is an involuntary withdrawal without any contact to you or anything, which is completely at a minimum unprofessional.
What caused you to wait? What caused you to wait the 5 years as opposed to rolling it over?
Because the 401k plan my father was invested in had really good options. Like I built up.
All of those same options exist in the open market.
Yeah, and I have my own personal investment accounts, and I do it with that as well. Don't rock the boat if the boat shouldn't be rocked. So the way I figured is the 401k plan was perfectly fine. I kept it in there just because the investment options were fine. It's a retirement account. I was treating it like a retirement account. I wasn't going to touch it until I was 65. I'm 30 now.
Yeah.
What do you make?
I'm a truck driver, so I make about $110,000 a year. And I also own a small business that I make about the same. So
okay. Under the Secure Act that Biden passed, you have 10 years to liquidate the 401k completely. You should have been liquidating it at 1/10 a year from the time the Secure Act passed 2 years ago, and you've not been doing that. So
I didn't know about that.
I know. So I'm trying to figure out how that plays into this and how hardcore. All right, let's pretend that we figure out a way to lean on them and they cancel the check and put the money back into the 401k so that you can roll it over within 30 days, which is what they should do if they're are people of integrity. This is a problem. It's not technically unethical. It's just so nasty that it ought to be unethical. What they've done.
And it's a big
lot of money.
It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. $20,000-$30,000, and that you don't have.
It cost me 2 years. It cost me 2 whole years of gains because of this. And
that's
like I never thought I would be upset to get a huge check in the mail, but I did, and I'm upset because I should have had it rolled over.
It should have been huger.
He should have called me.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do, and I don't think it'll work, but it's the only thing I can think of. All right.
Okay.
Go to RamseySolutions.com and click on SmartVestor, and find a SmartVestor Pro in your area that you like after talking to them on the phone. They may be able to call on your behalf and talk them into undoing this and immediately rolling it, and they'll help you with the rollover.
Okay.
They may be able to cite something that a regulation or something that I'm not aware of, because this is when you started talking, I thought you were going to tell me this was a tiny little 401k, like a $10,000, and they were just cleaning out all the little ones. Sometimes they do that when a company sells or in the event of an inherited 401k like you've got. But this is huge. This is a lot of money. And so this is, and with no notification at all, this is particularly nasty. And so if they had simply notified you, you could have quickly rolled it over and avoided this. Right?
Yeah. And they said they notified me, but I'm
wait a minute.
Like,
you're a truck driver. You're a truck driver. You didn't, they did notify you then.
My accounts. They said they did, but I never got any notification.
So you've never seen evidence of them?
Religiously.
Yeah, ask them to prove that they ask them to prove that they did.
Okay.
So
good idea.
I mean, I don't think you've got a basis for suing them, but I'd be tempted to. I really would. I mean, because you're talking about $25,000 or $30,000 cost here that is unnecessary.
$55,000 they took out. Honey, it's 50. It's the taxes on $55,000. The $55,000 is going to be taxed, not penalized. No. They when I got my disbursement, like the summary of what my original account balance was $300,000. They cut me a check for $245,000.
I understand. They took $55,000. They sent it to the federal government as tax withholding, and it's not all taxable. So because you're going to roll the rest of this. If you take the check in your hand and you roll it to a 401k, the only harm that's going to come to you is the taxes on the $55,000, which is going to be $15,000 or $20,000.
Oh, so I'm going to have to pay another $15,000.
Honey, you haven't paid anything yet. Okay, they withheld your money, $55,000, and sent it to the federal government. Then what you do is you file a tax return of what is actually due. And what will be actually due is not $55,000. It'll only be the taxes on $55,000 if you take the check in your hand and put it into an IRA traditional within 60 days of it right now. So you need to get on the phone with a SmartVestor Pro right now, because at least we need to do that.
Okay, I will.
But so the worst case scenario, if you follow through on what I just told you, is taxes on $55,000. Because the government has $55,000 of your money as if you're going to get taxed on the whole thing, and you're not.
Okay.
Because you're going to roll the portion in your hand, which is 80% of it, into a traditional to keep you from getting taxed. You got 60 days to do that from the time of withdrawal. So, folks, you can pull your money out of 401k. They have to withhold 20%, but you have to put 100% into an account within 60 days to avoid taxation. That's
he can't
what the
do that
problem
because
is.
they've already
But he can't do that because they got 55 of his money over at the IRS now. And so if you just take the 55, then you're going to pay some taxes, but not 55. So there we go. Brought to you by the Ramsey Network app. Download today to go further with Ramsey.